Hi and welcome to another edition of OnsideSA Soccer, the soccer show that lets you know what's going on. And as usual, we start off with our last one standing. We're a few weeks into the last one and the numbers are still dropping, Budge.
Yeah, Paul, if Man City hadn't escaped low, there would have been just over 100 left, Paul. But
154 left?
Yeah.
From 286?
286,
that's a big dump. Man United, 127 went. And Crystal Palace 5 went. The boys went through Southampton, City, Tottenham, Newcastle, Aston Villa and West Ham.
Yeah.
Right, nice to see the ladies are still going strong. 19 ladies left.
I saw Blair Miller, staunch Liverpool boy on the beach on Tuesday. She picked Man United, hurling abuse at me, but told her don't listen to her dad. But
Only
anyway.
5 went, Budge, from 24 down to 19. The ladies is going to get bigger with the ladies.
Yeah.
And my boy's still in. Mark Aboud, the Egyptian crossdresser, he's still in.
Yeah.
Stevie B, our pundit, that he's gone this far is a mystery. That's why they're getting floods in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And Derek Ramsey from Wales.
Yeah, Derek.
Okay, now picks of the week. That's always interesting, Pudge. Graham Clark picked Aston Villa.
That was the best pick of the week, Paul, betting-wise anyway, odds-wise. Tracy Null, Guillaume's wife, she picked West Ham, only person on West Ham.
Sure. Lucky.
Lucky, yeah.
Itchy Richie, Newcastle.
Five guys on Newcastle.
And then other guys who picked well were Johnny Arthur, Butty Galley, Lance Whiteford, the postman, and Alistair Cohen, the commentator.
He's hanging in, Paul. He could be an outsider, Paul.
Nah, no chance.
Well, he's in Dubai, so you never know.
You never know. Okay. Now, I do like your special mention, Colin, but people that have reached round 4 have never done it before. And Dave Harker.
Yep. Dave Harker, yeah.
Greg Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andy Keane.
Andy Keane, yeah, Keano. Yep.
Dean Latimer, the racing man.
Yeah.
So he's got the 4th round. And Carol Whitehead, Colours is off.
Yeah, well, she goes further than Garth all the time.
Every time.
Just hope Garth doesn't interfere this week.
Yeah, if Garth tips to her, she'll be gone. Right. How's Stevie B? Have we got him on the line?
Steve, you there?
I'm here, good morning.
Morning, Steve. How are you?
Not too bad. In almost uncharted territory through to round 4.
Round 4, Steve. Fulham top of the league, you to round 4. It could be one hell of a double.
Great double, yeah.
Steve, we got to talk.
No pressure.
Steve, the Chelsea situation, what's the latest?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the statement came out sort of yesterday evening, basically putting the club up for sale. What was interesting those were the breaking news, but then it went on to say that to profit from it, all mostly will go to a foundation for the benefit of people affected by war, which is interesting. But I think the question now is, who is there out there that can afford to buy it or wants to buy it? So, it remains to be seen who there is in the frame.
Yeah.
Steve, just a question for you on this whole issue. If Abramovich sells it, even if he has to drop his price, will that affect the buying power of Chelsea in the long run?
Well, I think that will really be determined by whoever buys it as to whether they are prepared to continue to put the sort of level of money in that Abramovich has over the years, because it's all very well buying the club, but the club isn't sitting on hundreds of millions of pounds just sitting in the bank. So whoever buys it is going to have to put in sufficient working capital to back the manager, whoever the manager is, whether it's Tuchel now or someone in the future, to continue to challenge. So it's not just about buying the club; it's having the money to continue bankrolling it.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's very interesting. So we'll know over the next few days, won't we?
Possibly. I mean, these things can take a long time. I mean, if you look at something like Newcastle, which was much smaller proposition, it took months and months and months, if not years, to come to fruition. He said he's not going to rush, but that might change depending on the situation with regard to the pressure he's under with sanctions. So, and I think it would be unsettling for Chelsea if there wasn't a buyer found soon, because it might be come the summer they might want to go out and invest money. Well, if Abramovich is still owning it, is he prepared to put more money in to buy players that Tuchel might need?
What are the chances, Steve, of an oligarch buying it?
Another Russian? No chance.
No chance.
I'd say as much chance as Spurs being in the next round of the FA Cup. That's as.
Correct.
All right, Steve, I've got to break the bad
that's-
news to Paul. FA Cup during the week, another disappointing result.
Watched it. Poor game. Flat. Song got a 3 rating. Winks got a 3 rating. Kane got a 4. They were never in the hunt. They had a couple of chances. They were less possession, less shots on target, less corners. The better side won. It's just I cannot believe the coach can go out there and see a team do that. He played the same team.
Yeah.
He said to them, if you do not beat Leeds, we're staying in this hotel for 3 days until we play our next game. If you do not beat Leeds, you're not going home to your families or anything. They won. They won comfortably at Leeds. Everything was sweet. They go and put up a performance like this. Nothing to play for, Budge.
Just got outfought. That's what it looked like. Middle of park pull, I thought, just lacked creativity.
But Winks couldn't pass from A to B.
Yeah.
You know, good players were playing better. Song was atrocious, his first touch. You know, but anyway, I mustn't harp on my team all the time. Well done to Middlesbrough. They've beaten United. They've beaten Spurs.
But what was surprising is watching Conte being interviewed. He didn't seem bothered by it. He was laughing and joking. You're just thinking, I don't understand this.
Yeah,
because
you know,
after the Burnley game, he was
Steve,
incensed. He should have been incensed because for Tottenham fans, I mean, Paul, you speak for Tottenham fans. You know, this is another year without a trophy, which is not, presumably is not, and not anywhere near a trophy, which is not acceptable.
Steve, do you know where that comes from, Steve? I get SA. We've already had 3-4 updates this morning. That comes from him and Levy had a meeting after the Burnley game when it seemed like he said, well, I'm not the right man to do the job. And it looked like he's leaving. Then he made it clear that was not, he was not the situation. And Levy had said to him, it's always heat of the moment. Rather go quietly into these interviews. Rather be more upbeat in your interviews for the players' sake, for everyone's sake, and for my sake. You can always meet with me. We can sort things out. And they met. That's why he was much more jovial, even though it was a shocking defeat.
Yeah. For my say on the Spurs situation is, it's one thing getting beat the semi-final of the League Cup by Chelsea, but to lose to Middlesbrough, it was like United losing to Middlesbrough. There is no excuse.
There is no excuse. Okay, well, let's go on to the games.
Man City, I watched a little bit of it. Just looked like a five-a-side game, Steve.
Yeah.
Both teams going through the motions.
I mean, they didn't have to really raise their game. I mean, 2-0 sounds close, but it really wasn't. And, Grealish came back and scored. And, it was comfortable. Once they were ahead, there was no... Peterborough tried, but for Peterborough, obviously they're in desperate trouble in the Championship, so the cup was just a bit of a distraction. But City cruised through really.
Yeah, Crystal Palace, bit fortunate, Steve, to beat Stoke 2-1.
Yeah, I just saw the highlights, and I know that Vieira was very upset with the way they played. But they scraped through, and obviously, they live to fight another day, and they've got half a chance of getting a little bit further.
Yeah, Southampton 3, West Ham 1.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the Chelsea and then the Liverpool game, but I was following reports, and it sounded quite a good game. But in the end, Southampton just a little bit too strong. A fantastic goal, the first goal for Southampton, Perro. I mean, it was like a bullet. But and I think Moyes will be disappointed because obviously they're pushing on a number of fronts. But again, West Ham fans, like a cup run. It's been a long time since they got to a cup final, and obviously probably disappointed with the result at the end of the day.
Yeah, another smack's coming in midweek at Seville.
I watched parts of it. They gave away a penalty, and then the last goal was a very good goal. It was a very good goal. But Moyes is going to win the same as Rangnick, as Conte. They'll win nothing this year.
Oh, Man United battle to win the toss, let alone the game.
That's right.
Steve, Chelsea, I thought Luton played well.
Gee, 2 good goals.
They did. First half, Luton played very well. Chelsea, second half, Chelsea were much stronger.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I don't think it was any real surprise. The result, they deserved to win. They put Luton under pressure the whole of the second half. But I'd say Luton acquitted themselves well in the first half. So, it was a good test, a good game. And Lukaku.
Why is there no VAR?
Because the Championship don't have it. Only Premiership grounds have
Championship
VAR.
grounds don't have it. Only Premiership grounds.
So if the FA Cup match is played at a Premiership ground, it'll have it.
VAR, yeah. If it's at a Championship, it hasn't. And
Thank
Liverpool, Steve, seemed to saunter through.
Yes, I watched the second half, and it looked like completely on top, and then all of a sudden, Norwich got a good goal and actually had a good chance for an equaliser. But
Yeah.
otherwise, they were sort of in cruise control. I think he panicked a bit at the end. I thought, I better bring the big guns on.
Mino.
But ultimately, look, he changed the team, wholesale changes, but they were still strong enough to go through.
Yeah.
So, he's obviously got the taste of winning a domestic cup now, Klopp. So whether he wants another one remains to be seen.
Yeah, and Everton, Boreham Wood. Well, how great is that for Boreham Wood to go to Goodison tonight?
Yeah, no, fantastic day out. I mean, I can't see anything other than a comfortable Everton win.
Yeah.
But this is Boreham Wood's cup final.
Yeah.
It'll be Everton's last
It's a
win
shame
for
for
a
them
week.
in a way. It's a long way for Boreham Wood fans to go on a Thursday night, but hopefully they'll enjoy
They'll be
their
en
evening
masse.
out.
Steve, Tuesday night I watched the game. Burnley 0, Leicester 2. Leicester really impressive.
Yes, I only saw highlights, but that was a game that Burnley might have been targeting to think they could get something from and close the gap. But obviously that's a big disappointment for them, and obviously I guess gives a little bit of comfort to the other teams near the bottom, because they could have overtaken a couple of teams if they'd won that. So I think that puts them under pressure after a couple of good results.
Yeah, I must say,
Do you
really
know-
impressed.
Do you know a little stat? Jamie Vardy scored.
Yeah, came
Now,
off the bench.
Over 30. In the Premier League, strikers have got the most goals over 30 years of age. He's just broken the record.
Ian
There's-
Wright,
Okay.
Teddy Sheringham,
There's Wright, Sheringham,
Shearer.
Shearer, I think Henry, and he's just broke 94 goals. He's overtaken someone on 93. Well done to Vardy. Over 30, yeah?
Yep. Steve, mentioning Leicester, the preview time now. Leicester hosting Leeds United. How do you see it?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see whether the new Leeds manager is going to make any difference, because obviously defensively they have been conceded 20 goals in the last 5 games. It's averaging 4 a game.
Thank you.
If Leicester, to me, Leicester will definitely start as favourites. They want to just claw their way up the table a bit. They're not going to challenge for anything, but I think that if Vardy is back now, they've missed him. I think that they probably will beat Leeds, but it'd be interesting to see if Leeds play slightly differently and not quite as cavalier as they have been under Bielsa.
Yeah. But you're off the Leeds. You fancy Leicester.
I fancy Leicester, yeah.
All right. A game I think there'll be plenty of goals in. Aston Villa, Southampton. How do you see it?
Yes, I think that'd be a good game. I think both teams will score, and I think that Southampton, I don't think will get beaten. I mean, they're in the middle of a good run at the moment, but Villa had a good win recently. I think it's got the feeling of a sort of a score draw. You could call this either way, because as I say, they're both capable. But Southampton are playing some good football at the moment.
All right, Steve. Newcastle, Brighton. Should be an interesting game.
Yeah, I fancy Newcastle. I just think unbeaten in 7, 4 wins, 3 draws. Brighton have having a bit of a wobble. I just think Newcastle will carry on their good run. They've got a lot of confidence at the moment, and another win could they could open up a bit of a gap between them and the bottom 3.
Okay, interesting game I'll be watching is Wolves Crystal Palace. What's your call there?
Yeah, I mean Palace are a funny team. I mean they were, you're not quite sure what you're going to get from them.
Yeah.
Wolves been a bit, I guess for themselves, they've been a bit disappointing after that great run. They've had two defeats on the spin. I think they want to get back to winning ways, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if they do that. I think it'd be a really close game, maybe just 1 goal in it, but I think Wolves might just edge that.
Okay, and the Manchester derby on Sunday. Any chance of United causing an upset?
Well, look, I mean, it is a derby, and they have done that in the past. But City are obviously determined to try and win the Premier League. They can't afford to drop points with Liverpool hot on their heels. I think it will be a close game, but I just have a feeling City might just edge it.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I agree with you. Steve, on to the Championship. Your boys are cruising, but it won't be easy. Lunchtime kickoff against Blackburn.
No, not at all. Our last lunchtime kick-off a couple of weeks ago was against Huddersfield, and we got caught cold by them. So this is a game we definitely need to target to win, because Blackburn are sort of find themselves still in that top 6 position. If we want to put an even bigger gap between us and them, then we win at home. Look, we won 7-0 away at Blackburn, but I don't think that counts for anything on Saturday. They're without Ben Brereton, Diaz, but I would be disappointed if we didn't win. But I think it would be probably by no more than a goal.
Yeah, I watched them against QPR. They're by far the better team. Middlesbrough, great result against Spurs, against Luton, who played well last night against Chelsea.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I did, but I think Middlesbrough will be too strong. I think that they've got a fantastic home record. They came unstuck at Barnsley last week, which is a real shock. But I think at home they're strong, and I think they'll want to take the form that they showed against Tottenham and carry that forward against Luton. Both vying for a playoff place, both doing very well. But I just think Middlesbrough will just edge that.
Okay, can our Preston boys upset Bournemouth?
Oh, I'd love it if they could. I mean, even holding them would be a good result.
Yeah.
So they're capable. That's the thing. I mean, you know better than me. You're not sure what you're going to get from Preston, but they are capable of holding anybody. Yes. Bournemouth, have had a bit of luck. They've come from behind and won with goals right at the death in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Albeit they were playing against 10 men last week. So, they're not winning games easily. But I think if Preston, I wouldn't be at all surprised Preston could hold them.
Well, let's hope so. Queen's Park Rangers against Cardiff City. Big game for the Hoops.
Won last night. Yeah.
Big derby.
Yeah, I mean, Cardiff obviously shown a lot more form recently, and they won during the week against Derby. I think QPR should win that. I mean, they lost. Their record in the last few weeks has not been that good. So they're still in a playoff position, but they've sort of fallen away points-wise. I think this is the game they're going to target, and I'd be surprised if they don't win that.
Yeah, me too. Last but not least, Reading versus Millwall.
Well, Millwall are playing some good football at the moment, and had a really good win last week against Sheffield United. Reading, although they have won one recently, they're still, they're not in a good position. They're clear of the bottom 3, but I can't see them winning that. I think if there was to be a winner, I fancy Millwall.
All right, Steve. Now, last week you were spot on with your tips. Who are you going for your best bet and value bet, please?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Middlesbrough as my best bet. Okay. I just think that they'll carry on their winning home run. My value bet, I'm going to go for Newcastle. I just think at home, Brighton are having a wobble. Newcastle showing a lot of confidence. I think they'll fancy that this is an opportunity to pull away from the teams at the bottom.
Yeah, I totally agree. By the way, Steve, you can't use Middlesbrough in last one standing. It's only Premiership Pics, and so get studying. There's no game on Friday, fortunately. So Saturday's fine, Steve. I know you normally come out.
Steve, get on Spurs. They have 6 days off since their defeat. 6 days off.
Yeah,
They never lose when they have 6 days off. Never win when they have 4.
Look, the guarantee is they never win when I back them. So if I don't, then you know you're a winner.
I just wonder if Conte's got them in the hotel at Middlesbrough for 6 days. So,
oh my God, yeah, that really would be like a punishment, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Spurs' last 4 games have been away.
Yeah.
All up north.
Oh, but a sightseeing.
So now we're coming home to play Everton, who are going to win during the week and lose to us.
Yeah. No, listen, it's a game that Everton can't afford to lose because of their position, but Tottenham can't afford not to win because if they want to close the cap on 4th, because at the moment the team that are sort of looking as if they're in pole position are Arsenal because they've got all these games in hand. But
I think they will finish 4th.
Win them or not.
So Arsenal let you down just when you need them. All right,
Steve. Thanks very much. Plenty of time for your selection, but get studying.
I will.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
Stevie.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, Budge, let's go on to these Premiership fixtures. Leicester Leeds.
Well, I think Leicester, my best bet of the weekend. Really impressed against Derby, what I saw. It was 8.5 to 10 this morning. I think they're good things. Well, I know Leeds, we're expecting them to be a little bit better defensively, but what I saw from Leicester, they'll win easy.
Southampton, who are not scared to win away from home, 2-1. Can they do it?
Paul, a hard game last night. Aston Villa, they played well against Brighton.
Yeah.
But at home, they've struggled lately. Paul, it's goals 8 to 10, over 2.5 goals is my play there. This could go either way.
Okay.
But goals is my suggestion there.
Burnley, Chelsea.
Paul, I fancy Chelsea. Reason being, I watched Burnley. Was a hard game against Leicester on Tuesday. Ben Mee went off with his knee. Crucial part. A lot of guys went down injured. They've got a busy schedule. And I think Chelsea, they've got the goalkeepers tidy with crosses. They normally beat Burnley, especially there. I think 5 to 10 is a gift, Paul.
Okay, now you like Newcastle to beat Brighton.
Yeah,
Well, Steve
Paul.
does, sorry, Steve
Yeah,
does.
Steve fancies them strong. Paul, Brighton, you never know what you're going to get. They're better away
If they
from home
turn
than
up,
at
if
home.
they turn up, they'll,
Yeah.
they'll
They've
make
only lost one
Newcastle.
away game,
Yeah.
Paul, and they shouldn't. That was at Old Trafford. They should never have lost. They lost 2-0, but that wasn't a fair
That's
reflection.
right, that's
So,
right.
Paul, a draw away from home for me, but I don't see Newcastle getting beat.
Norwich Brentford, that's a battle.
Sure, Paul. You know, to think Eriksen's going to come and resurrect them, Paul, it's difficult. Well, Norwich,
He can
you
help
just
them,
don't know. He'll help them, Paul. Of the two, I like Brentford, but the draw has to be a big player.
Okay, let's move on to Wolves Crystal
Paul,
Palace.
I fancy Wolves. Yeah, what that manager did, they were unlucky against Arsenal. 1-0 up till late, conceded 2 goals. And what he did against, when they got beat, was at West Ham. Paul, he brought Jimenez on with like 10 minutes to go. You know, what was he doing? Disgraceful.
He had no Prudence or whatever. You know, he didn't play his good players.
I just couldn't believe it. I was spellbound, Paul. But I fancy them to beat Palace. You know, Wolves are a good team, Paul.
Good team, they pass well.
Pass well. I think they'll win 13-10, yeah.
I think Liverpool will beat West Ham.
Yeah, so do I, Paul. I don't like the next couple of weeks for West Ham. Lot to say. I think it's all going to go up in smoke. Europa League, top 4.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool will win easy.
Watford at home fighting for their lives. Can they get a point of Arsenal?
They could, Paul. It just depends on Arsenal. Arsenal
that
they
turns
played
up.
Burnley at home 0-0, terrible. But they played well against Man City when they lost 2-1.
Yes.
Paul, they've won 7-9, but it's away from home.
Yeah,
You've got it. But the London derby, Paul, it should be Arsenal, but you just never know. You know, if Watford defend well, they've got a squeak. If they don't, they'll get well beat. But it should be Arsenal.
City United.
Paul, you know what we've seen from Man United. I know City were poor. Yeah, I thought they played well against Spurs. Spurs caught them on the break. Against Everton, Everton fought hard, Paul. Yeah, it's not easy going to go to played well. But Man United, with what I've seen, Paul, we can't, well, you never know, but I just don't see it. Ronaldo's going to play up front. You can't run him behind. Last year we beat them twice. Counter-attacking football. Rashford, Greenwood, the boys. I just don't see it, Paul. Hopefully, but I don't see it.
Spurs, Everton. But Everton, if they play like they did against City, they're going to give a great game.
Yeah,
against
well,
Spurs.
I think there's goals in it. 6-10, I don't think it's good value Spurs.
No.
You know, at home, obviously, good form, but well, I don't like what I see. You know, I can't take 6-10. It's like Man United. Can't take any price on Man United. But, Paul, I think a draw is a big player in that game.
I don't. Championship fixtures, Budge.
Yeah, Paul, there's one in midweek. Cardiff beat Derby. They scored late. But Friday night, Paul, there's 2 games on. I think Huddersfield, unbeaten in 15, when they won their last 3 at home, they've got to beat Peterborough. Peterborough struggling, 6-10. Paul, looks a gift.
Okay.
The other game should be a cracker, Paul. I don't, you know, not Sheffield United has gone for them lately. They got beat at Millwall last week. I like Notts Forest. Really been impressed with them. Win and draw for me there, Paul. 8-10, Notts Forest. That's my play.
Okay.
You know, Fulham. Paul, I watched Blackburn last week. They totally outplayed QPR bar for 10 minutes before half time. There's goals in this, Paul.
Yeah.
I think Fulham, I was going to go Fulham to win. Both teams have scored 5-2, but we ended up going Fulham to win over 2.5 goals at 15-10. But Fulham should win, Paul.
Mitrovic scores, eh?
He scores every week.
Bristol City, Birmingham, good game.
Paul, should be a goal. Paul, has to be goals. I like Bristol City. They always score. Birmingham, Paul, they've got a new bet this week, so I'll tell it to you a bit later. But I fancy Bristol City, but I think there'll be plenty of goals in that game.
Derby, if they're going to survive, have to win.
This is it, Paul, but, you know, we got the wrong sheet. But anyway, we'll go QPR. Paul, I like QPR. I think they'll beat Cardiff City.
So do I.
You know,
Cardiff won yesterday.
Cardiff beat Derby, but QPR struggling. Good home form, Paul. But I fancy QPR 12-10. You know, Reading, Millwall. I like Millwall.
I like Millwall.
Won their last 4.
Millwall.
I think they'll be too good for Reading. But Paul Ince has taken over at Reading, so you never know. But I like Millwall of the 2. Paul, you know, Stoke, I think they've only won one of their last 9. They're even struggling at home. So I went Blackpool, win and draw there. I sense an upset, Paul.
Okay.
And the last game, I just don't know. What Swansea beat West Brom at home?
17-10 the
You know,
pair.
Coventry were lucky against Preston. They scored the 98th minute to equalise. Paul, Swansea and a draw for me in that particular game.
Okay, let's go to the last sheet then.
It's the Derby one. Yeah, Paul, Barnsley have won 3 of their last 4. They beat Middlesbrough and QPR, 2 top 6 teams. The last away game, they beat Hull 1-0. 12-10 Derby is sure. I know they've got great home form. They've only lost 1 of the last 7.
Yeah.
But this is do or die, Paul. Don't be surprised with a red card here. But the draw has to be a player, even though both teams have to go for it.
Hull City, West Brom.
Paul, I can't have West Brom. I watched them on Monday night. They cost
They've
me
been
money.
disappointed, eh?
Terrible, Paul. I think they've only won one of the last 12.
Sure.
Yes, they don't look like scoring a goal, and if ever there's an upset, it's Hull.
Who's in charge there now?
Steve Bruce has taken over at West Brom. Paul,
You're gonna have
haven't
to-
improved.
you're gonna have to
Andy
raise-
Carroll's their saviour.
Yeah.
Paul, this could, of the upsets, I like Hull 5-2.
Okay. Middlesbrough, Luton.
Middlesbrough 7 home wins in a row. The way they played, Paul, they'll be fired up.
Luton played well
Luton
too.
played well against
Chelsea.
but it's away from home they've struggled. But it should be Middlesbrough their home form. Yeah.
Okay.
Preston, Bournemouth. Paul, we've only lost one game at home.
It's a
Preston.
tough one.
It's a tough one for Bournemouth. They've got to get a result to confirm second place. Paul, it's Bournemouth in a draw for me there. I don't see
Okay.
Preston upsetting them.
QPR at home to Cardiff.
Paul, QPR, good things. We went through that
Yeah,
sheet.
I was just having a look at it. I didn't make a comment
that
there.
was
That's
cute.
why, just
Yeah.
confirming. Okay. Right. PSL, Budge.
Yep.
Let's look at the midweek games. Baraka got thumped.
Yeah, we had a player sent off just after half time. Maruma Gaddett scored 2 goals late, 3-0. It was on TV. I saw a bit of it.
Pirates, Cape Town City.
0-0, Paul. Gee, just end
Tight
to
draw.
end. Good point for Cape Town City.
Another draw, Amazulu,
Paul, I
Stellenbosch.
watched it. They were very lucky to get the draw on Mazzulu. Steve Barker's team were a yard quicker. 2 bad defensive errors, but 2-2. Fair result in the end, but I thought Steve will be disappointed.
Sundowns trotted up.
3-0. The other team had
Is
a
the
player
league
sent
over?
off. League over, Paul, yeah.
Okay, let's look at the fixtures here, Budge. 14-10 Baraka, Galaxy 2-1.
Yeah, Paul, I like TS Galaxy. They've played well the last couple of games. They beat Chiefs in the Cup. Baraka can't buy a win. TS Galaxy in the draw for me there.
The big derby.
Paul, the draw is always the case. You just never know. Pirates are going to roll them one of these days. They just don't seem to create or convert their chances, Pirates. But 18-10, the draw would be there.
Cape Town City 11-10.
I like what I saw last night. I like Cape Town City. We were on Sekukuna last week. They lost to Morocco Swallows. All over them first half, couldn't score and got punished. So Cape Town City for me there.
Even money, Supersport.
No, I can't have them, Paul.
Me
Watched
too.
them last week. Royal AM beat them. You have a look at Amazulu. They've only lost 1 out of, I think, of 14. 10 have been draws. So the
We'll
draw
go for
player
the draw.
again. I don't see Amazulu losing, Paul.
Okay, Maritzburg. Oh, Sundowns.
Sundowns, Paul. Every week, Sundowns just seem to do enough.
Oh, they're that
3-0.
good.
They're a division above what we've got, Paul. 5-10. They should win.
Royal AM Swallows.
Paul, Royal AM at Chatsworth. 9 home games, 1-7, drawn 2. So that gives it away. 6-10 is short for a PSL team. Swallows fought hard. Dylan's got them working hard. They don't score many goals. That's the problem. I don't see Royal AM getting beat, Paul, but 6-10 is short.
Budge, Maritzburg United against Sundowns.
Yeah, Paul, hard to go against Sundowns. They're destroying everybody. Maritzburg have put up a fight. They always do, but it's got to be
Outclassed.
Sundowns. Should be, yeah.
Okay, let's look at Royal AM and Swallows. What do you
Paul,
think here,
9
Budge?
home games for Royal AM. They're going well, Royal AM. 7 wins and 2 draws.
Where do they play out of?
They played at Chatsworth
That's
Stadium.
right, yeah.
Going great. That's the old Bloemfontein Celtic. Good team, Paul. They play
good
well.
team.
Dylan Kerrs at Swallows had a good result last week. Tough to see them winning in Durban, but he'll take a point, but it should be Royal AM.
Okay. Golden Arrows, Chipper United.
Paul, Golden Arrows are good too. Well, they don't get beat too often. That's the problem. Like Amazulu, they draw too many games, but at Sugar Ray Kulu Stadium, got a fancy Golden Arrows 9-10.
Okay, and Maruma
Maruma
Gallants.
Gallas, Paul, they won 3-0. They were in the CAF Confederations Cup. They got beat in the playoff run. They're good to watch.
Yeah.
They look like the old Morocco Swallows, all their small midfield players. But Steve Barker's got Stellenbosch going well. They're
Yeah.
unbeaten in 5. Drawing Stellenbosch for me there.
Okie doke, but it's time for your soccer picks.
Yeah, soccer exotics. We start off with our Gold Circle Soccer 6. Paul, I think the 2 certainties. So I've thrown the draw in with Leicester at home against Leeds United. I've gone the field in the Aston Villa Southampton fixture. I think Chelsea will be too good for Burnley. I've gone the field in the Newcastle United Brighton game. I've gone Wolves win and draw at home against Crystal Palace, because I think Liverpool will destroy West Ham 2-1-6.
Okay, let's go to the other one. The
Pumalena
tab one.
Soccer 6, yeah. Bit of a licorice all sorts, but I don't see Villarreal losing at Osasuna. I'm going TS Galaxy win and draw at Baraka. I'm siding with Chiefs, and what a game I think. With the Pirates.
Pirates,
Win and
yeah.
draw at home against Kaiser Chiefs. Had to take a chance. I'm going with Aston Villa, win and draw at home against Southampton. I'm bankering Cape Town City to beat Sekhukhune United. And I don't see Amazulu losing at Supersport, 192.
Okay, Bunch, the
On
next
to our
one.
Gold Circle Soccer 10. I'm going Leicester, win and draw at home against Leeds. I'm bankering Fulham to beat Blackburn. Aston Villa, 1-2-3 against Southampton. I'm bankering Chelsea to beat Burnley. I'm going the field in the Newcastle versus Brighton match. On to the second page. I'm going Brentford to avoid defeat at Norwich City. I'm going Wolverhampton Wanderers, win and draw against Crystal Palace. I'm banking Middlesbrough to beat Luton. Unfortunately, I don't see my Preston North End boys upsetting Bournemouth. I'm going Bournemouth, win and draw, and ending with Liverpool to be too strong for West Ham, 288.
Right, Bunch,
On to the Soccer 13. I'm banking Liverpool to beat West Ham. I'm going Aston Villa, win and draw at home against Southampton. I think Chelsea will be too good for Burnley. Newcastle United at home against Brighton, win and draw. I'm going Brentford, win and draw at Norwich City. Going for Wolves to beat Crystal Palace. Middlesbrough to beat Luton Town. Onto the second page, I'm going Bournemouth, win and draw at Preston North End. Swansea City to avoid defeat at home against Coventry. I'm chancing Bristol City to beat Birmingham City. I'm going Hull City, win and draw at home against West Brom. Siding with Millwall to be too good at Reading, and Blackpool win and draw at Stoke City, 256.
Right, Buds, the best bets.
On to our bets. Yeah, Paul, I'm going Leicester City to beat Leeds and over 2.5 goals. I'm going Chelsea to beat Burnley, Wolves to beat Crystal Palace, and over 2.5 goals in the Aston Villa Southampton fixture, 2,800 to 200.
Okay.
Both teams to score sides are Newcastle Brighton, Norwich City Brentford, Man City Man
United
United.
going to score.
Yeah, I think so. And Tottenham versus Everton.
Everton going to score.
You know, I think
okay.
Everton will score 2,000 to 200, especially the way Spurs defend. On to the Championship. I'm going Fulham to beat Blackburn and over 2.5 goals. I'm going Notts Forest and Blackpool to win or draw. Notts Forest are playing Sheffield United and Blackpool are at Stoke City. And I'm going Queen's Park Rangers to beat Cardiff City, 2,800 to 200. Now the next bet is over 2.5 goals and both teams to score. So there has to be 2-1, 3-1 or some. Both teams have to score. So I'm going Bristol City, Birmingham City, Derby County, Barnsley and Reading Millwall, 2,500 to 200.
Let's nail a few of these.
Yep, on to our team goals only. I'm going Leicester City, Chelsea, Bristol City and QPR, all to score over 1.5 goals.
Okay.
2,000 to 200.
Collis
Now,
King.
Collis King, 6 or Nixa. I'm going Leicester to beat Leeds, Chelsea to beat Burnley, Liverpool to beat West Ham, Huddersfield to beat Peterborough, Queen's Park Rangers to beat Cardiff, and Barcelona to beat Elche. 3,200.
Sounds good, Budge. Sounds good. Well, there we go. Those are the bets for this weekend. And the Premiership starts on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. Lunchtime kickoff.
And the Championship Friday.
Friday night, 2 games.
Okay, last one standing.
Saturday
It's
lunchtime.
coming down fast. Looking harder now. City play United. Until next time, stay on side.